We are back, folks, for another edition of Behind the Uniform, where we go inside the playing careers of the guys who wear the uniform for the maize and blue. But we also find out who they are away from the gridiron, who they are when they take off that winged helmet. And joining us is a guy who you should know well by now because we talked to him a lot. He was on Behind the Uniform last year and went on to have a standout season. It was a journey that had a little adversity to start, but ended in a rousing way. And I'm talking about young Mr. Zeke Berry. Zeke, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Man, it's good to see you. Excited to see how this season is gonna go, but we like to start off reflecting because I remember last year at this time, it was, bright-eyed Zeke Berry about the opportunity that was before you to kind of really show what you could do, but little did you know you were going to be able to show what you could do at multiple spots, man. So if you could go back and talk to yourself, I mean, if you knew then, what would you know now? What would you tell yourself about what you were about to experience?
I probably would have told myself, not to get too much in my head, about, the whole changing positions thing. Telling myself, I'm confident, I got this, even though it's a new position, you know how you can play. It doesn't matter where you're at on the field, you know how to play ball. Yeah, pretty much it, keep myself focused and locked in and do what I can, each and every day to get better.
Mm-hmm. I talked to Rod Moore, who, like you, plays safety and nickel. He didn't play corner, though. And he said, man, I don't know if I could have done what Zeke just did. He said, I don't know if I could. He said, man, trying to play corner. He said, that's a different animal. Now, we talked about how you explained that in a lot of ways, corner is an easier position mentally. It's not easier physically from a speed and quickness perspective, but mentally, it can be easier. And Rod kind of talked us through what you meant, but talk us through from your perspective what you meant, like how, because it seems counterintuitive to a fan. Like everyone thinks that corner is the hardest position in the secondary to play, but you being there, tell us why that might not necessarily be the case from a mental perspective.
Definitely mentally, it's a lot easier from the nickel position and safety position because at the safety position you're communicating to the linebackers, communicating to the nickels. And then the nickel position, you communicate, sometimes to the D-line, to backers, and the safeties. So, and then at corner, you do still communicate, but it's not as much as you would at, safety or nickel. So mentally, I feel like it's a little bit not as a strain as the other positions. Making sure that you are doing the right job and making sure that everybody else is in the right position to do the right thing.
Yeah. So when you aren't thinking as much, you can play faster, right? But at the same time, now you got perspective all over the defense. So I wonder if that helps you play faster because now you know what everyone is supposed to do. Is that right?
No, yeah, definitely it does. Being able to play all those positions, like I know if you call a certain call, okay, I know where this nickel is going to end up and where my help is going to be. I know where the safety is going, if he's going to be over the top or not for help, or if I was at corner. So I mean, being able to know where those spots are going to be on the field definitely helps you and kind of be more savvy enough, to do something on the field.
Yeah, so you could maybe take chances. You can gamble. Where you can freelance a little bit, right? Or maybe because you guys started rotating in some younger guys at safety. We started seeing a little bit of Mason Curtis in there, who we're going to introduce folks to. Brandyn Hillman started getting some run in there, who Rod shouted out, like, look out for B. Hill.
You got to look out for him.
Yeah, think he's going to be a guy. But as a guy who's been all over the defense, feels like you, from a corner spot, can kind of help direct traffic a little bit. Fair to say?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's happened a couple of times, in practice where we have some young guys in, rotating some guys in, and, they have a play where they're not in the right position or something like that, but we go on the sideline, and we'll talk over it. And then before the play, if we go out there and we have the same play or something like that they messed up on, we'll go over it, we'll communicate before the play, and we'll make sure that he's good or whatever the case may be.
So take us into your journey, though, or back to your journey, where you said you would tell yourself, don't get in your head so much, right? Who was telling you that last year? It wasn't you telling yourself that.
No, Rod was telling me that. Rod was telling me. Who else? I think it was Coach Morgan actually was telling me about that too, because he told me I'm such a you know, I always wanted to be in the right spot. I always wanted, you know, be doing the right thing. I'm such like a perfectionist, you know. And he always told me, like, not to get in your head, you know, you're not always going to be perfect, but you can always strive to be that. And then I feel like I took that on the heart, you know, and, you know, I do want to be perfect and stuff like that, but, you know, it's not everybody's going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. So just fine-tune those little things and I'll be fine.
Yeah, man, your relationship with Coach Morgan, definitely want to dive into that because you guys, you mentioned there were some patches early in the season. He rode with you.
Yeah.
Like Zeke's gonna be able to, and not only did he ride with you, when there were absences at other spots, namely corner, heading into the Oregon game, he said, "We got Zeke. Zeke can do it."
Yeah.
We had Sharon, he had Coach Moore on talking about it, and he said he went to Lamar and said, "What are we gonna do at corner this week? Should can't play." And he said, Coach Morgan said, "Zeke can handle it." And he said, "Are you sure?" Are you sure? Like, I'm not the coach. Like, are you sure? And like, this is a safety nickel. And you gonna slide him out the corner?
Yeah.
And he said, Lamar was like, "I'm sure Zeke can handle it." And so, man, I mean, the lead into that, because this is Oregon, man.
Yeah.
And so this ain't.
I think that was ranked number 1, but when we were playing them, the time we were playing them, I think that was ranked number 1. Too.
Yeah, man. So this ain't, y'all not playing. No disrespect to any other squad out there, but you go. This is like the top of the heap when it comes to receivers. They got 4.2 and 4.3 out there across the board.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, what about the lead into that, and then Coach Morgan showing that kind of faith in you?
I mean, it means a lot. I remember he came up to me. I think it was a Wednesday practice. And he told me, like, we're going to be short at corner, but I want you to, like, take the position. And I told him I could do it. You know, wherever you need me, like, I can do it. And then I started getting the reps shortly after he told me we were doing team and stuff like that. But, I mean, just for Coach, to, you know, to have that faith in me and say, like, okay, like, I do trust him. You know, let's put him out there. And I feel like we have a good dude out there. I mean, it makes me feel good. You know, all I've wanted, you know, throughout my years here is somebody to trust me and, like, you know, believe in me. And I feel like with Coach Morgan, you know, he was the type of person that, you know, let me do whatever I can do. And I feel like that's a big thing.
It felt like y'all clicked quick. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we definitely did. Yeah, because I remember when he first came, he met like most of the players coming in, most of the DBs, and we just talked about like life and where he's seeing me, and like just had a conversation just to, you know, build that relationship, and then from there it just went up.
Yeah, man. So you go out and definitely kind of establish yourself in that first game as a guy that can play corner. It reminded me of high school because you know you played everything. I didn't see you play corner.
No.
But I saw you played everything else,
yeah.
right? And so, had you played corner before?
I actually, my freshman year, I played I had like a couple reps at corner, but I never really, you know, played in the game or like really stuck at corner. But I remember talking to DJ when he was here. He was like, "Bro, you move like a corner, like you're a corner." And then I just remember that every time he told me, I'm like, okay, yeah, now I'm here.
And so, and it stuck, and then it felt like it started clicking. At least from my perspective, Indiana. Did it feel like that for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got in the groove against Indiana. That's when I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, man. And so then, fast forward to Ohio State. Nobody gave y'all a chance in that game.
Always counted us out. Yeah,
they counted y'all out. Now, you know, there's an important lead up because y'all lost that Indiana game. And I can't remember who told the story, but they said Rod got up in front of the squad, and I guess some of the other seniors did too, and was like, "Look, man, most of us older guys in this room, we've
never lost to them.
Never lost to them.
Yeah.
So we either gonna win the rest of these games, or we gonna go out like some, you know? So let's figure out now who we are, right? And so do you remember that, and how did you take that? What impact in the moment? Because we know what the outcome was, but in the moment, what impact did you see that having on the team?
I feel like it did a lot, you know, for the team, and, you know, keeping the energy up. Definitely, you know, coming back from halftime and, you know, seeing the defense and how we played and finished the game. I feel like that did a lot for us. you know, and just seeing the older guys and hearing what they were saying, you know, now that I'm like the older guy, I kind of feel them like come on, like we're not supposed to be, you know, losing to Indiana or nothing like that. So, you know, we had to get it going, you know, in the second half, and it did what we did.
And so you get in that O State game, you're like 3 touchdown underdogs. You know, they are clearly an offense that is putting it on everybody. They swear they're about to, you know, run y'all out the horseshoe.
Yeah.
At what point did you know y'all were gonna win that game?
For me, I would say halftime. When we was walking off the field, I remember just seeing like everybody heads down and like not really like having no energy and all mopey and stuff like that. And once I seen that, I was like, yeah, we got them. We came back in after halftime and just kept working. You know, kept doing what we do as a defense.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had the toughest matchup on the field from the perspective of who they have. I mean, they are an elite team with talent across the board. You cannot disrespect them in that way. But Jeremiah Smith is a cut above all the rest of them, right? Yeah. And so he had, I think that was his lowest output of the season. I think it was 5 catches for 35 yards. One of them was for a touchdown.
Yeah.
One of them. And so I got to ask you, Zeke, to kind of take us into that play, man. Some people say that was a PI.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think from your perspective. I'm sure you watched that play.
Oh, so many times. So many times.
Over and over again. So what do you see on that play? What do you think? Is there anything you would have done different? Kind of talk us through it, walk us through it.
Okay, well, I remember right before the play, I seen the splits. You know, he was kind of cut in a little bit, so I'm thinking, okay, he might go under. So I kind of, you know, get up on him so I can get some hands on him, you know, slow him down. Because I know all he going to do in the end zone, in the red zone, is just big boy you know, bully ball. And then I seen him get off the line. I tried to put hands on, and then he just pushed me. Like, 2 hands pushed me. I'm like, okay, wow. Like, and then I looked for, like, the ref, like, to call something. They didn't call it. So I'm like, after that, I was like, okay, like, this is how you going to be. So, all right, then I'm going to have to play the same way.
Yeah, so, I mean, did the ref say anything?
The ref didn't say nothing. I'm talking to the ref, and I was like, you didn't see that? Like, nothing. He just didn't say nothing to me. I was like, okay.
So basically, that means that's how you can play in that game.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I guess so. Anything goes. So, I mean.
They just gave you the green light.
Yeah, let's just play football then. Come on.
Yeah, and so, obviously, though, I mean, that dude is a ball player. Make no mistake. They go on to win after that. But y'all did something to them that nobody was able to do. Y'all shut them down.
Yeah.
And it has impacted them to the point where no matter what they say, it bothers them that they won, but they didn't win.
Yeah.
They didn't beat y'all. And so Jeremiah Smith stepped up and said, hey, I guarantee you we'll never lose to them dudes.
I seen that video.
What did you think when you saw and heard that?
When I seen it, you know, I laughed at it. They actually sent it in the DB group chat, DB group chat, and I watched it. I just laughed at it, and I'm like, my whole goal is to embarrass whoever is in front of me. Like, I'm gonna embarrass you. Like, I don't care who you are, what your rating is, like 5-star, 4-star, whatever. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna embarrass you. Like, so I mean, seeing that, yeah, he can say that, but we coming with heat.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out come November. Looking forward to it, of course. But there's a lot to be determined well before then. It's about the preparation leading up to that. That's a metaphor for life. It's a metaphor for your retirement. Preparation, what you do leading up to finishing off your career, whatever it is you may do, is how it's going to determine what that retirement is like. That's one of the reasons why we started what we call the Financial Literacy Bootcamp. So one of the phases, one of the elements of the Financial Literacy Bootcamp sends the guys over to the University of Michigan Credit Union, where our partners over there take them through a series of financial scenarios that they might face, that they need to be ready for to make sure that they can handle those scenarios if they ever encounter them. So here is that session that the guys encountered over at UMCU.
guys so much for coming. We are so excited. This is our second year of Behind the Uniform. And so U10 players have been hand-selected really as players that we see giving back to the community, giving back to the Michigan fans as folks that we cannot wait to see hit the field this season.
We could go around this room right now. I guarantee that all of you guys have a slightly different sort of financial goal. You might want to buy a house in a couple years. You may want to start a small business. All those kind of things. Doesn't matter. Financial freedom, though, is being able to do what you want to do safely. Cool. All right, let's go right here with Zeke.
Zeke Berry. I'm a DB. Going on senior year in Pittsburgh, California.
All right. Talk to us, Zeke. What you got?
Financial capability goes beyond just knowing and including the ability to apply that knowledge and those skills in real life situations.
Yeah. Zeke, what's that mean? What's that connect with you?
I feel like financial capability is, knowing what you're capable of doing in your financial stability and being able to, find out what you know and do certain things with, finance.
Nicole and I can teach you how investing works. We can teach you how the credit scoring system works. We can teach you about how credit cards work. Who gets to make the final decision?
Me.
You. That's what capability is. We want you to take that information and use it to build wealth and make yourself successful.
So Zeke, out here at the University of Michigan Credit Union, year 2.
Yeah.
Playbook for Prosperity, your second year in a row, so you should know some plays.
Yeah.
What new plays did you learn this year?
I would say some new things that I learned. We was playing the Kahoot when they was talking about financial literacy and what was it, the credit on like how much you would like lose if you were late for like one payment, or depending on how much of the points you would lose depending on how late the payment was or stuff like that. But I mean, I think it was after one late payment, it went down to like 80 or 100 points or something like that, and I was just like, whoa, I didn't know it could happen like that. And then to get it back up there, you need a year for it to go back up. So that was new to me.
Yeah, so one late payment is down. And it takes much longer to build it back up.
Much longer.
So that plan, gotta have that plan to make sure you're on time every time.
Yeah.
To make sure you're never falling back. And I mean, see, it's one of those things. You plan on the field to never give up that big play.
Yeah.
It's kind of how that life on the field kind of imitating, what happens off the field, right? So as you guys got to some of those scenarios that you mocked when you got with your teammates, man, were any of those things kind of surprising to you? Some of those budgetary things?
Yeah. Because for me, like, I don't really try to spend that much for like anything. So like the way we were trying to budget things, it was like car payments, it was saving and investing, and then like other things you need for like housings and stuff like that. We all tried to mock the little chart that they gave us, saying like 20% here, 30% here, stuff like that. But the chart definitely helped me a lot to, have a visual on, okay, you should be spending this much for this, that much for that, and, just give us an overall plan. So, I mean, that was really good for me.
Yeah, helping you set up that playbook for prosperity. Another aspect of the Financial Literacy Bootcamp is getting a chance to sit down with Dave Himich and his team over at Morgan Stanley, talking about investments, talking about preparing for retirement 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And Zeke, I'm curious, now another year into NIL for yourself, where are you in terms of planning for your financial future, planning for retirement, that you kind of taken that investment strategy to heart and started doing some of those things?
No, definitely. I actually just met with Dave yesterday, to finish up some of my taxes and, talk about some of the investments and stuff that we've done. So, I mean, I've been taking it a lot, to heart, because, money can be easy, for us and like and athletes, but, it can also be easily gone. So, I just want to be able to, have as much as I can, make it work for me and not me work for it. So, I mean, I'm doing as much as I can, keep building.
Was that a tough adjustment? Because I know for a lot of young guys to be thinking that far in the future, when you're not even into your pro career yet, be it your pro football career or your life after football career, you could actually not do anything now and fund your retirement in your professional career and probably be fine. So it's hard to kind of conceptually get into that headspace. But if you can fund your retirement now, man, it'd be great to get a head start. So was it hard for you to kind of get in that headspace?
I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was just something it was new to me. I never really understood it, but I was trying to, ask for help and try to get, the ins and outs of what I can to help set up, my future. And I feel like Dave and his team does a good job of doing that, and I'm grateful for him.
So you're a saver now?
Yeah.
You're a saver?
Definitely.
Everything
Definitely a saver.
Yeah, man.
I'll be going to the grocery store. I'll be seeing how much like these meats cost, like steaks, and I'm like, dang, I don't even want that. I don't even want that no more.
Yeah, I mean, if you go splurge or something, though, I mean, you got to splurge on the steak. It's when you start talking about the different kinds of some of the more frivolous things. Yeah. But there's as long as you plan and budget right, you can have fun. You can splurge on a steak here, a car there. Do some different things and still save at the same time.
Definitely.
And that's what planning will do. Planning for your financial future will do, and that's one of the reasons why we got into the financial literacy bootcamp. And so Zeke, your preparation, be it your preparation in high school, your preparation once you got here to Michigan, it got you ready to face the adversity that you did on the field and really overcome it, man. I mean, to the point where, hey, if you had stayed at nickel, I feel like you would have balled out there too. I don't think you're just balling out because you moved to corner. I'm curious what you think about that, but I feel like this rise that you just had you stayed at corner, it would have been the same. How you feel about it?
I mean, I feel like for me, I can play anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm at corner and I'm playing good. I could have done the same thing at nickel or safety, no matter where they had me at. Because I know how I am, I know how I can play, and I'm confident in myself and my abilities. So I feel like it doesn't matter what position I play, I'm willing to do anything and be the best at it.
So do you get any reps at any other spot outside the corner now, or is it just all corner? How's that gonna go?
No, they're still switching me around, a little bit, getting some nickel, getting some safety, showing some different looks and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm all around.
Yeah, gotta keep that iron, keep that spear sharp at all those different spots, man. And so, where would you say, you're better? Because I mean, you just started getting reps at corner. So where would you say maybe the biggest improvement has come for you from the end of last year, where you were obviously balling out till now?
For me, I would say the biggest improvement that I've had and worked on a lot is being able to work on my man-to-man skills. I feel like I needed some work at that. I work on my long speed. Just being able to get in and out of my breaks as quick as I can. And just being an overall ball player. Mentally, try to focus on my mental and how I can help others around me. And I feel like that's been quite a wide, right?
Yeah, because you talked a lot. I remember last year talking to you. You talked a lot about Mikey's like film habits and what he did off the field to kind of you're like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Was that? Were you able to kind of take that last year, or was that a process that you kind of adapted to gradually? When you talk about Mikey's off-field sort of preparation and getting ready for games,
It's definitely a process, and what he did. You know, it's not going to be like, you know, quick. It's going to be something, you know, it's going to take a long time, you know, to build into and get into. But you know, I feel like throughout the, you know, off season, I've done a good job of, you know, trying to, you know, do the things that he did, you know, see the things that he sees. And also getting with Rod too. You know, Rod's mental is, everybody can say that in defense, like Rod's mental is above all. And just, you know, being able to pick his brain, you know, and get some tips from him, because, you know, it's not going to do nothing but just help.
Yeah, so, you know, Rod is working his way back. You know, he went in depth. He said, you know, physically he's back now. He's working on his coordination. He feels like he'll be back at some point in the season. What will it mean to have him back on the field with you?
Man, it meant a lot for the defense, you know, being able to have a general out there. I mean, Rod is truly special. I mean, just being able to talk to him and the way he speaks about the game, it seems so little to him, but to me it's just like, that's a lot that he sees. Like, and being able to break that down and see it before the snap. You know, so just being able to have him back on the field is going to mean a lot for us. You know, we're happy to have him back and can't wait to see him out there again.
Yeah, and so, you know, it kind of, hearing him talk, he said, we butted heads, like he's talking about the players. He said, you know, we butted heads with the staff a lot, with Coach Wink a lot early in the season, not in a disrespectful way.
No.
Not in a disrespectful way. He said we butted heads because essentially you had two really successful sides. He was really successful coming from the pros, established himself. We had just won a national championship. So both sides are really successful doing things their way, and you got to get to know one another. He said that was a process, man.
Yes,
it wasn't talking about something that wasn't overnight. That wasn't overnight. And so it took half a season to really kind of get totally comfortable. You were on the field. So for you, could you kind of, how did you feel being, you know, on the field as all that was unfolding last year?
It definitely was a process, you know, coming from two different sides, like him coming from the pros and then us coming off a natty champ. You know, we see things differently. You know, the way we ran things in that 2023 season and the way he's been running his defense is totally different. We just needed time to see eye to eye with each other, and, you know, understand why he calls this play and like why we need to do what we do. You know, just being able to see like his brain and what he thinks is just, you know, something we have to get used to. But we did, you know, throughout the season we did, and you saw like how it went.
Yeah, you saw how it went. And so now, as you head into this season, now you know him, he knows you.
Yeah.
It feels like that's a setup for you guys to really kind of hit the ground running. So I mean, if you kind of project, I know you guys got camp to go through and all that kind of thing, but kind of project for me what the outlook is defensively, given that you guys have a year in Coach Wink's defense now.
Just now, being able to have a year under his defense and, you know, understanding his brain and how he sees things, I feel like we're gonna come off and running this season. You know, spending so much time in the film room, making sure that we all on one page. I feel like after we're doing that, you know, throughout the offseason, I feel like we're gonna go off the way we want to, and it's not gonna be like no slow start. We're gonna come off hot.
So you guys, you know, there's some pieces that aren't present anymore, and some big ones, Mason, KG, you know, Will, Makari, right? And so how is this defense different? I mean, other than the names, I mean, I mentioned some big names, but when you look at this defense, I mean, tell me from a player perspective, I mean, do you feel like you guys are just, is it like a deeper defense? Is it a bigger defense? Is it a faster defense? I mean, what do you see is the biggest difference in this defense compared to what we saw last year?
Some differences. I would say we're a younger defense. You know, we got some young guys coming in. But I also say, you know, we got some guys that are hungry, like that are dogs that work every day, that want to get on that field. Like, we got some people that's ready to put themselves out there and make a mark, you know, make a name for themselves. I feel like, you know, we got a lot of speed on the defense. Defense is strong, you know, even though we don't have those guys that you named, you know, we still have people that was under them that learned from those guys, you know, and still worked out with those guys, you know, and saw what they need to do, you know. And yeah, I feel like this defense is just overall. Crazy, like actually.
Yeah, so let's talk about that secondary. Guys ready to step up. You know, Coach Moore, he sort of made a bit of a proclamation. He said, hey man, TJ Metcalf's gonna be one of the best players in the Big Ten.
Yes.
And I said, you know, I had to pause him for a second. And I said, you know, you don't typically just come out
and say that,
making statements about new guys like that. You say, hey, you know, I'm expecting a lot. But no, he came out the gate saying this dude is going to be not just one of the best players on the team, one of the best players on the in the conference, right? So, and he's playing nickel.
Yeah.
So, what do you see from him from a player perspective that made Coach Moore say that?
Man, he's a dog. When I was saying we got guys that are dogs, that's what I was mainly thinking about TJ. Like, that guy he comes in, works, always working, always in the facility, always, you know, wanting to learn more. And just seeing how he moves, the way he can play DB, he can either play safety or nickel, you know, just seeing the way that guy can move, I feel like, yeah, he's going to be a problem, you know. And I feel like he's going to go like this, straight, just like that.
Yeah, so for Coach Moore to be saying that he's going to be a playmaker like that coming in the door is exceptional. And then we got a couple of younger guys coming in here. One of them being Mason Curtis, who is a bigger safety.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of high school, some people thought, man, maybe he might be a linebacker.
Yeah.
He's so big, but he can still move
Yeah.
at safety. And we started seeing him flash last year. So give us, from a player perspective, what you see from the young fella and what we should expect from him this year.
Seeing Mason grow, I mean, it's been a journey. You know, as you said, you know, he can move. You know, being that tall and being able to move like he can, I mean, it's something special. Not all people can do that. You know, he's a playmaker. You know, Mason is he just wants to know as much as he can. You know, always asking either me or the older guys and trying to, you know, make sure that he knows what he has to do and so he can be in the right spot. So I feel like Mason, his scale going up too. You know, he's just a dog.
Yeah, and then, you know, you lit up. Rod said the guy he expects to break out this year is Brandyn Hillman.
Definitely.
He said, man, watch out.
Yes.
If it's a dude who's going to make some noise,
it's going to be him.
It's going to be Brandyn Hillman.
Yeah.
And so you immediately jumped in and interjected with some agreement. Why? Why do you believe that?
Man, B. Hill, seeing from where he came, you know, coming in freshman year to how he is now, I mean, it's a completely different person. You know, he's learned a lot. You know, he's grown. He's gotten that type of, okay, I'm here now. I know what to do. Now I'm ready. You know, type. And I feel like he's a ball hawk. He'll hit you. He'll pick the ball. He'll make you miss. Like, it don't matter. He's just an overall crazy. You're gonna see why. Like, it's hard to talk about B. Hill, but B. Hill, he's a special player.
Yeah, man. And so, you know, a couple of freshmen. So we got 3 freshmen, and we're sort of doing like an intro series with.
Yeah. One
of them, a young freshman corner who we just heard Coach Moore say, hey, I think this kid's going to play a role for us this year. Is Shamari Earls.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, it's a tough transition for any young guy to come in and play a role, but especially at Michigan.
Yeah.
So, this young fella making this transition, what have you seen from him so far?
I mean, for him, you know, he came in already wanting to know, like, what do I need to do? You know, me and him talk every day. He asks me questions on, you know, whether it's the defense or anything else he needed to talk to me about. You know, he's in a position where he wants to learn as much as he can because he wants to help this team win. And I feel like he's done a great job of doing that. You know, just watching him move, you know, doing DB drills. You know, he's long, lengthy, but he can move fast, twitchy. You know, I feel like if he gets going straight headed to where he's going right now, I feel like he's going to do really good for us.
Yeah, I hear the leadership, Zeke. I mean, you know, there's a part of this where you got to be focused on your individual improvement.
Yeah.
But, you know, once you become an elder statesman, can you bring other people with you? And you seem like you've internalized that. Is that a natural thing for you, or are you challenging yourself to be more of a leader? I'm curious how that part of you is coming out, if it's a natural thing, or if you or someone around you has said, hey, Zeke, we need you to be more of this, play more of this role on this team.
I would say definitely at the beginning, it was definitely challenging to me because it was something I wasn't used to, being that leader. But now, I've embraced it. It's not really challenging for me anymore. It's coming more natural. Just being around with the guys, wanting them to do the best and want the best out of them, it's just who I am. I want everybody to eat, So, I mean, for me, it's just something that I embrace every day.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now, man, as we kind of wrap things up and we look ahead to this season, I mean, a lot of us are expecting the defense to be, I won't say, to be really good. I hate to get into too many comparisons to what was, but to be still really good. The bigger question marks are about the offense. You saw their growth. You saw what they were. So I want your perspective on what they were beginning of the spring to the end. Where did you see their growth? What do you think are the different challenges that they present now as an offense compared to last year or even at the beginning of the spring?
I mean, at the beginning of the spring, they came out hot. They actually came out throwing the ball. We actually struggle as a defense, to keep them closed in. But the guys that they have, the receivers, Fred, Samaj, Kendrick Bell, Channing, those guys, they've gotten a lot better. They've actually taken this offseason and told themselves, like, hey, this is the time for me to, switch something around, actually, be great. And I've seen that throughout the whole spring. As a complete offense, they've totally changed their like, what can I say, like their name or whatever, something like that, But, they, we just used to run the ball all the time, We've actually, changed some stuff up and throwing the ball a lot more, and so, it's actually doing really good.
Yeah, Coach Moore keeps talking about Donaven McCulley. What has he been like to match up with?
I forgot about him too. Yeah, Donaven. He's been actually, me and him have gone at it. At practice. Me and him. Iron sharpens iron. So me and him always line up against each other. Make each other better, and that's something that I've really wanted. And he brings that out of me after every practice. So I mean, for him, he's a ball player. It's somebody that we really needed. A key to this offense.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. It's definitely a competition. Gonna see who it winds up being. Is it gonna be Bryce? Is it gonna be Mikey King? You got Jaden Davis in there. Guys are working to see who's gonna be that signal caller. But a lot of eyes on 19. A lot of eyes on that freshman #1 player in the country. What have been your impressions as a guy coming in the door? You had some acclaim coming in. You've seen other highly ranked guys come in. Yeah. What have you thought of Bryce Underwood coming in with all of that fanfare?
Man, I seen him come in, and the way he carries himself, you would have thought he's a starter already, just off of how he carries himself. I mean, he could throw the ball, run the ball, whatever. He do whatever with the ball. I mean, he's a playmaker. He'll set guys up and make sure they can make plays, and he's a hell of a player. Somebody that's actually going happy or actually help us, throughout the season.
What about him as a dude, just as a guy away from the field of play? What have your impressions of him?
He cool. He remind me of JJ. He always talk to you, always asking you questions. No matter who you are, if you're a starter or you're a walk on, he's gonna take the time, to talk to you, no matter who you are. So he's a cool dude, man. I mean, I like him.
Yeah. Well, man, listen, I'd be lying if I didn't say, hey, the investment that we have in the success of Zeke Berry, the emotional investment we have in the success of Zeke Berry is really, really high, to say the least, man. So excited to see what's in store for you. Proud of you too. I think you know that.
Appreciate it.
And can't wait to see what happens on the field come this fall, because I think it's going to be a show, man. So good luck out there.
It will. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching another edition of Behind the Uniform.